When you picture Hawaii, what immediately pops into your head? I bet it's swaying palm trees, right? That amazing turquoise water, the whole aloha spirit.
Exactly. Paradise, that's the image.
It really is paradise personified. But what if I told you that, well, underneath those postcard-perfect landscapes and beaches, there's a whole different side?
A hidden side.
Yeah, a hidden, kind of darker reality. It's steeped in centuries of stories, tales of murder, ancient battles, and spirits that just refuse to rest.
Restless spirits, for sure.
So today, we're embarking on a journey. We're doing a deep dive to unpack your sources on the most haunted places in Hawaii.
Right.
And honestly, this dive might just change how you see paradise forever.
That's the plan. Our mission today is really to pull out the key insights from these sources, explore some facts that are genuinely surprising, and help you understand not just what these hauntings are,
but the why behind them.
Exactly. Why they matter so much within Hawaii's unique cultural context. We'll look at everything from, sorrowful royal spirits all the way to entities that seem to be actively hunting.
Hunting. Wow.
Yeah. It's about giving you that shortcut to being really well informed about this whole unseen dimension of Hawaii.
Okay, let's get into it then. We're starting this deep dive in places where major historical events have left these really deep spiritual marks.
Indelible marks.
And you could argue nowhere is that clearer than at America's only royal palace, Iolani Palace on Oahu.
Yes.
This isn't just some monument. It was built on sacred Hawaiian ground. And the stories say it's basically a prison now for restless royal spirits.
It really makes you stop and think. Queen Liliuokalani, Hawaii's last monarch,
right?
She was imprisoned right there after the illegal overthrow of the kingdom in 1893.
That sorrow, that anger she must have felt. It's said to bind her spirit there.
It is. Security guards have reported her old bedroom door just opening on its own once a month, even though it's locked tight.
Seriously. Okay, that's creepy.
And then there's the blue room. There's a grand piano in there, locked inside a bolted glass case. No guard has the keys.
Okay.
But staff regularly hear it playing these sad, melancholy Hawaiian songs late at night.
No way.
Yeah, and the moment investigators show up, the music stops. Just gone. But sometimes there's this faint smell of cigars left behind. Apparently the Queen's favorite.
Wow. And does this happen randomly?
Well, the activity seems to peak on important dates, especially January 17th, the anniversary of the overthrow.
It really tells you something, doesn't it? Beyond just a ghost story, it shows how deep the pain of that history can embed itself in a place.
Makes the past feel very present.
Totally.
Yeah.
Visitors often talk about feeling sudden waves of grief or even anger, and phantom smells too, like pike, Hawaiian jasmine, and sandalwood.
It's a powerful start. Really shows how historical trauma can just soak into a place. But royal sorrow, while intense, often contrasts with the sheer scale of mass tragedy.
Which leads us where?
Pearl Harbor. And the USS Arizona Memorial. Hickam Air Force Base 2, all on Oahu. Site of the December 7th, 1941 attack. Thousands dead. Pulled the U.S. into World War II.
A defining moment.
Absolutely. And visitors to the Arizona Memorial, they often report just overwhelming feelings. Sadness, fear. It's heavy.
I can only imagine.
There are stories of apparitions, soldiers pacing the docks over the sunken ship, hearing distressed whispers, even distant explosions.
Wow.
What's interesting is the range of activity. Hickam Air Force Base, also bombed that day, apparently has this well-known prankster ghost. They call him Charlie.
Charlie. A prankster ghost at Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. Officers will apparently just brush off weird things, faucets turning on, radios changing stations, doors swinging open. They just say, oh, that's just Charlie.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
How common these seemingly benign ghosts are in places of such intense tragedy.
It is wild. But the psychological impact isn't always benign. It's severe enough that some military staff actually request transfers away from there.
I believe it.
And the sensory stuff is chilling, too. People report the air tasting metallic, like blood and fuel, and sudden cold spots. It just hammers home how collective trauma leaves this energetic imprint.
Okay, so from historical sorrow and mass tragedy, now we're shifting to places you might not expect. Luxury resorts.
Right, which raises that fascinating question. What happens when modern development basically paves over deep, ancient spiritual ground?
Like the Moana Surfrider Hotel in Waikiki. The First Lady of Waikiki, they call it.
Beautiful hotel, but built directly over Apwakiho, an important ancient heiau, a temple site.
And the layers just keep coming, don't they? Jane Stanford, co-founder of Stanford University.
Died there, mysteriously.
Yeah, 1905 strychnine poisoning.
Yeah.
And her spirit, apparently in Victorian clothes, is still seen, gliding near the banyan tree through the hallways.
But she's like the new arrival, relatively speaking.
Exactly. Before the hotel, that site saw a brutal execution. A Maui chief, Kahiakama, was killed there, and his bones turned into fishhooks.
Which is a profound spiritual insult in Hawaiian culture.
Totally. And guests and staff have reported seeing this tall Hawaiian man wearing a traditional feathered cape and ahuila near the hotel columns, always just out of the corner of their eye.
It shows how even these glamorous modern places can't just erase the history they're built on.
Right. And the sensory stuff reflects that complexity. You get the sweet smell of plumeria and pikaki flowers, but sometimes there's this underlying smell, like decay or sacrifice, and people just feel watched, especially in the older wing.
That clash between the sacred and the modern is really unsettling, and it keeps going at another big resort, the Hilton Hawaiian Village, also on Oahu.
Okay, what's the story there?
This one gained its haunted reputation mostly from encounters with Pele.
The volcano goddess.
The very one. Hawaii's volatile volcano goddess, often seen as the Lady in Red.
How does she appear?
Various ways. Sometimes a beautiful young woman, other times an elderly lady asking for help.
And there's a tradition about that, isn't there?
There is. Hawaiian tradition warns you never refuse help to an old woman because it could be Pele herself testing you.
Wow. Are there actual reports?
Oh yeah. Back in 1959, the Honolulu Star Bulletin newspaper documented a housekeeper seeing her vanish. Just poof into thin air.
Seriously.
Seriously. And the psychological impact is real. They apparently have higher staff turnover on the night shifts in certain parts of the hotel because of these encounters.
Imagine.
Plus, the hotel's right on the beach, which means it's in the path spirits are said to travel along coastlines. Guests feel sudden cold spots on the beach at night.
It's a powerful reminder that these indigenous beliefs aren't just folklore for tourists. It's a living thing.
Absolutely. Even modern developments have to deal with it. Oh, and a fun fact.
Yeah.
Elvis liked to stay there. Scenes from Blue Hawaii were filmed at the resort.
No kidding. Hauntings and Hollywood. Only in Hawaii, maybe.
Right.
Okay, so now we're moving into places where the danger level kind of ramps up.
Yeah.
Where ancient battles and modern life collide, sometimes violently, on the roads themselves.
Yeah, like the Pali Lookout and the Nuuanu-Pali Highway on Oahu.
The site of King Kamehameha's big conquest in 1795 were, 400 warriors.
At least 400 of Chief Kalaniʻakupule's warriors were forced off those cliffs to their deaths. Just horrific.
And after dark, people report hearing things.
Oh, yeah. The clash of weapons, desperate shouting, even the sickening thud of bodies hitting the ground below.
Chilling. But there's more to that highway, isn't there?
Huh.
A specific legend.
The pork taboo. It's a well-known local warning. Never, ever transport pork across the Pali Highway.
Why not? What happens?
Legend says your car will just mysteriously stop dead, and then an old Hawaiian woman with a dog appears.
Yep.
She demands the pork. You give it to her for safe passage. If you don't, well, you're stuck. And numerous drivers swear this has happened to them.
That is incredibly specific.
It is. And this area is also known as a major pathway for the Huakapipa, the night marchers.
The spirit warriors.
Yeah. Right. These aren't just campfire stories. There's cultural warnings tied to spiritual rules that are still taken very seriously. People report intense sensory details to a metallic taste, like fear, and even feeling phantom hands pushing them towards the cliff edge.
Okay, that's genuinely terrifying.
That legend really shows the deep cultural connection, how ancient traditions still shape daily life and warnings. And speaking of haunted roads, Highway 1 through the Kulo Mountains.
Also on Oahu.
Also on Oahu. It's considered one of the most concentrated hotspots for supernatural activity in all of Hawaii.
Why there specifically?
Mostly because building it involved disturbing countless ancient Hawaiian warrior burial sites.
That never ends well in these stories.
Rarely. In fact, the construction faced like 7 years of delays. Workers kept fleeing after having encounters, constant crew turnover.
Wow. So what do drivers report now?
Disembodied voices speaking ancient Hawaiian, echoing from the tunnel walls, especially late at night. Radios suddenly tuning to static, but with chanting underneath it. GPS systems going haywire or just shutting down completely.
Okay, note to self. Avoid Highway 1 after midnight.
That's the local wisdom. Avoid after midnight, keep your windows rolled up tight, and never stop for hitchhikers or what looks like an accident victim.
Why not?
They might be supernatural tests or lures. That's the belief. The sensory stuff here includes this bone-chilling cold, even with the heater blasting, the air tasting metallic and ancient again, and seeing movement in your peripheral vision that vanishes when you look straight at it.
It really highlights the consequences of messing with sacred ground.
And why respecting local knowledge is so important there.
So from the roads,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about encounters on foot. More active, maybe even malevolent entities.
Potentially, yes. Take the big banyan tree at the Manoa Falls Trailhead on Oahu. Beautiful spot, popular hike, but it's considered a spiritual crossroads. And another major pathway for the Huakaipu, the night marchers.
Okay, so what happens there?
People report hearing faint drumming, like coming from inside the tree trunk, seeing shadowy figures moving among the roots, smelling burning kukunit nut torches when there's no fire.
And there's a specific protocol here too, right, for the night marchers.
Absolutely crucial protocol. If you hear drumming or chanting after dark on that trail, you immediately lie face down on the ground. Stay completely still, and do not make eye contact.
What happens if you do?
Traditionally, looking at them means death. These aren't passive background spirits. They command respect. They enforce ancient rules. It shows how dangerous these encounters can be if you're not prepared or respectful.
Okay, that's intense. Let's talk about Morgan's Corner. Old Pele Road, also Oahu.
Ah, Morgan's Corner. That place got its terrifying reputation mainly from a specific event. The brutal murder of a 68-year-old widow, Therese Wilder, back in 1948.
And her screams are still heard.
That's the report. But she's supposedly not the only ghost there.
Oh.
Witnesses describe seeing a teenage girl, but with a half-decomposed face, jump roping down the road.
Oh, God. That's grim.
And another figure carrying her own severed head, believed to be from a hanging that happened nearby.
This place sounds awful.
Locals avoid it completely after 10 p.m. If they absolutely have to drive through, it's windows up, doors locked, don't stop for anything, even if it looks like someone needs help.
Another spot where you don't stop.
Definitely not. The sensory stuff includes this weird, cloying sweetness, like decay mixed with night-blooming jasmine. Car radios go to static. Engines sputter or stall out completely. It's a chilling example of how a specific violent act can just anchor a haunting to a place.
Yeah, it really seems to linger.
What's really unsettling is when these entities seem less like echoes and more like they're actively hunting.
Okay, now you really have my attention. Hunting.
That brings us to the Wahiawa Botanical Garden and the nearby Wahiawa Elementary School on Oahu, and the legend of the Green Lady.
The Green Lady, what's her story?
It's a sinister one. She's described as this grotesque apparition. Details vary, sometimes covered in seaweed, jagged teeth, green scaly skin, always smelling like rotting plants.
Oh, why is she there?
Most legends say she's searching for her lost child, or children. People report this oppressive feeling, especially near the bridges in the garden. There's a specific legend. Cross one of the bridges alone, and you might never return.
Never return. That's serious.
And at the elementary school, she's apparently terrorized the community for decades. Appearing in the woods right next to the school grounds, the report suggests she actively hunts, stalks people.
Stalks them. How does the community deal with that?
It raises that question, right? What happens when a haunting isn't just a presence, but an active threat? Parents in Wahiawa actually have communication networks to warn each other if there's a sighting. Kids are never allowed outside alone after 7 p.m.
Wow. They take it very seriously.
Extremely seriously. It shows how deeply ingrained these things are in the local community fabric.
So beyond these really intense, well-known spots, Hawaii seems to have this whole constellation of other unique haunts, right? Almost like anywhere could have a secret.
Absolutely. It proves the spiritual isn't just confined to ancient sites or battlegrounds. It weaves through everyday life. Air travel, hotels, it's everywhere.
Like Honolulu Airport. I read something about that.
Yeah, the lady in waiting, a woman in white, seen at gates, even restricted areas, supposedly took her own life after her fiancé never came back from a flight.
That's sad.
It is. But then you also get reports of toilets flushing by themselves and this choking ghost that supposedly sits on your chest while you sleep in certain areas.
Okay, less sad, more creepy. What about hotels again? Like the Waikiki Prince.
Opened in 1953. It's known for a few things. Blue orbs, these harmless glowing lights seen late at night. Native whispers heard in empty rooms or hallways.
Native whispers.
Yeah, like indistinct talking in Hawaiian. Also luggage loss, bellhop carts vanishing and then reappearing somewhere totally random.
Weird.
There's the eternal tourist, a guy in a Hawaiian shirt seen by the pool long after it's closed, and maybe even the Waikiki prince himself, a dapper man in an old-fashioned suit, seen in the lobby and elevators.
So a whole range of experiences even in one place.
Exactly. And it's not just the big, fancy places. History itself holds onto spirits. Old theaters, plantation villages. They become stages for ghosts still playing out their lives.
Like the Io Theater on Maui.
Built in 1928, home to Emma, they call her. A playful ghost from the flapper era seen in the audience, sometimes even on stage.
Playful.
Apparently. Shadowy figures in the basement, cold spots, flickering lights are common too, but often the activity stops if someone just acknowledges Emma, like says hello.
Interesting. What about the plantation village?
Hawaii Plantation Village in Waipahu, Oahu. It's an open-air museum, right?
Yeah.
Nearly half of its 25 historic homes are said to be haunted by restless spirits from the plantation era.
What kind of stuff happens there?
A Japanese doll found outside its display case. A worker reported being followed home by a choking ghost. Strange noises, pots and pans clattering. It got so bad that actors hired for their Halloween haunted house event actually quit because they were too scared. Now, staff aren't allowed to work there alone.
Wow. So beyond these maybe sad or mischievous spirits, Hawaii also has some truly dark legends, yeah. Rooted in folklore or modern violence.
Oh, definitely. Shows the full spectrum. If you want a contender for the most haunted house in the state, many point to the Kaimuki House in Honolulu.
What's the story there?
It's said to be inhabited by a kasha.
Akasha? What's that?
It's a demon from Japanese folklore, sometimes described as a beikneko, like a cat demon that snatches corpses. But this one is apparently malevolent towards the living, too.
Okay.
Back in 1942, there's a police report. Officers arrived to find terrified kids and their mother desperately trying to ward off spirits with tea leaves and salt after her son was physically attacked, strangled. Multiple families have fled that house claiming physical assaults.
That's terrifying. Proper demonic haunting stuff.
Pretty much. Then for a more ancient, primal kind of fear, you have Kaniana Cave or Makua Cave in Wailua, Oahu.
The shark god cave.
That's the one. Local lore says it was home to Kamahoewai, a shape-shifting shark god, but also his son, Naue, who developed a taste for human flesh. Oh, great.
Yeah. He'd lure victims into the cave, devour them, and supposedly trap their souls there. Visitors report strange shadows, really eerie feelings. Some believe it's a literal gateway to the underworld.
Okay, adding that to the maybe visit during the day.
Yeah.
The large group list.
Good call. And finally, Mackenzie State Park in Pahoa on the Big Island, built by prison convicts back in the 1850s. Many died during construction, likely buried right there in the park.
So convict ghosts.
That's what people report seeing. Convicted ghosts, fully manifested apparitions of unshaven men, sometimes with pickaxes, usually seen around sunset.
Oh, anything else?
Oh, yeah. Hearing a large campfire at night, but finding no trace of it by day. Footsteps following you on the trails when you're alone. Whispers and cries coming from lava tubes. And another choking ghost.
Seems to be a theme.
It does. This one apparently unzips tents or physically chokes campers while they sleep. Plus, the park has also been the site of some gruesome modern murders, too. So it's layered with tragedy.
Man, that really covers a huge range, doesn't it? It does. And if we connect this all back, the bigger picture, what outsiders often miss about all this is how deeply these beliefs are woven into daily life for locals.
It's not just for tourists.
Not at all. It's a living cultural tradition. You know, ancient Hawaiians didn't even have a word that perfectly translates to supernatural. Why? Because these kinds of spiritual encounters were just considered a normal part of existence.
That's a fascinating point.
Think about concepts like mana spiritual power residing in people, places, objects. Or hoailona omens, signs from the spiritual world. These describe experiences that mainstream Western culture might just dismiss.
Right.
And it raises that important question. What if something you, as an outsider, interpret as a scary ghost?
Right.
What if a local recognizes that as ancestral guidance? Or maybe a warning from their omakua?
Their family guardian spirit.
Exactly. Think about the night marchers again. They aren't inherently evil in the tradition. They're fulfilling a sacred duty, protecting the spirits of ancient chiefs. The danger comes from disrespect, from breaking protocol.
Like looking at them?
Right. Or take Pele. Her appearances aren't random. They're seen as expressions of her spiritual stewardship over the land. It's about respect.
So how do locals navigate this?
Families maintain protective practices. Planting tea plants around the home tie is considered spiritually protective. conducting regular blessings, teaching kids the proper way to behave in places known to be spiritually significant.
And that term chicken skin.
Yeah, chicken skin, goosebumps. It's not always just fear. It's often understood as a physical reaction to recognizing a strong spiritual presence nearby, a presence that demands acknowledgement, respect.
So the takeaway is?
Ultimately, Hawaii's supernatural landscape demands the same respect as its stunning natural beauty. You have to understand both. In Hawaii, there's the concept of pauhana.
Finished work.
Right. When work is done, it's time to go home. Time to let the night shift take over. And trust me, based on these stories, you really don't want to meet that night shift unprepared.
Wow, what an incredible and honestly kind of unsettling journey we've taken through Hawaii's hidden side.
It's definitely a different view of paradise.
From those tragic echoes of history, the royal sorrow, the mass casualties, all the way to playful poltergeists, those ancient guardians like the night marchers, and even, truly malevolent things like the Kasha or the Green Lady.
It covers the spectrum.
This deep dive, hopefully, has given you a shortcut to understanding that rich, complex, and sometimes pretty disturbing spiritual tapestry that lies just beneath Hawaii's beautiful surface.
And maybe it leaves you with a final thought to consider. In a place that's celebrated globally for its beauty, for that aloha spirit, what does it really mean that the spirits of its past are still so intensely present, so respected, even feared?
Yeah.
What does that tell you about the profound connection between the land, the history, and the unseen world?
Something to definitely think about. We hope this knowledge empowers you, makes you feel well-informed, and maybe gives you a new layer of appreciation for Hawaii's incredibly complex and, yes, haunting reality.